Good morning. I am going to try out this podcast thing. I'm motivated by a couple of things to do so. One, my friend and guy who helps with sound here has hooked me up with this, uh, all the things necessary, all the goodies to be able to pull this off, and I don't want to waste them. Number two, I feel convicted that I need to do this. I feel like it'd be good for me, accountability wise, because what I say in this podcast is going to be, I hope, an overflow of what God's doing in my life. So it'll kind of hold me accountable. Um, and I mean, honestly, if I could avoid it, I probably would. But it keeps popping up in my head that I need to pull this off and I need to do this. And so I'm going to proceed, even though I have a face that is probably best suited for audio. Um, Anyhow, again, this is going to be overflow. And some days it may be 5 minutes, some days it may be 10 minutes, some days it might be a minute and a half. But I'm going to try to show up and do this periodically, at least periodically, sometimes daily. But anyway, this morning I'm reading through the book of John and a few other books. I'm doing so as I'm using the Navigator's Bible reading plan. That's a Bible reading plan that you can find on YouVersion. If you're looking for a Bible reading plan, I really highly recommend it. Me and my wife use it, and it's been very beneficial for us. A Bible reading plan that takes you kind of systematically through the Bible instead of hopping around is one I would advocate over, the aforementioned thing. Um, so check it out. It also kind of one of the attractive options or qualities of this Bible reading plan is that um, it builds in a few days. If you don't show up a couple of days, it's built in some space where you can catch up at the end of the month. There's 5 days where it kind of gives you the freedom and leeway to kind of go back and catch up. And so that's a pretty cool thing. And so take a look at it. It is the Navigator's Bible Reading Plan. It's on YouVersion. You can find it in other places online as well. So, like I said, I'm reading through the book of John, and this is the second time in a couple of years that I've kind of been able to read through the book of John, um, and I love it. I particularly love John 15. It is, man, it's you could camp out. You could probably do a podcast on John 15 for weeks or months. Um, if not a year. It's so full of good stuff. Um, but this morning, I started John 15 so that, I'm, um, it's not these are not verses either that I can quickly gloss over. I didn't make it to the other books in my Bible plan this morning as I kind of got hung up there in the first few verses of John chapter 15. Um, I'm thinking about, always as a Christian wanting to bear fruit. Um, I believe that's really comes with the package. When you come to know Jesus, I believe with that um, will come a desire to bear fruit, obey, be productive uh, for Jesus, be productive in the kingdom. Um, and whether you do that perfectly, you're not going to, but you're going to have a heart desire to do so. And so I think that I'm probably not unique in that this thought of being fruitful swirls around in me just like it does in you if you know Jesus. And so, the question then comes, how can I be fruitful? And this passage here in John chapter 15 is good. It's unequivocal. It's clear. I need I need clarity. I need uh, clear. I don't know about you. I need clear. Sometimes I mean I make things harder than it is, but they are. But But this is pretty clear, as far as the question, how do we produce fruit? By what source are we able to produce fruit? Those are two pretty critical questions that are answered right here. Um, the first one, by what source are we able to produce fruit? Um, well, you're not going to produce fruit without constant connection to Jesus. So when I say bearing fruit, you could also say Christ-likeness. There is no Christ-likeness. There's not going to be any Christ-likeness if you are not routinely, um, constantly relying on Jesus. And kind of like it talks about fruit here, and it talks about the vine and the branches. So if you could just visualize um, grapes on a vine, that pretty well tells the story of how we are going to bear fruit. You need to be kind of like a grape that clings to a vine. You're going to bear fruit. You got to cling to Jesus. You got to depend on Jesus. You got to rely on Jesus. You got to be a student of His Word. You got to meditate on His Word. It says day and night. I mean, that's the extreme that we need to go to. I don't think it's I don't think it's an extreme. It sounds extreme to some of us, day and night, but that's the sort of route we need to go if we're going to bear fruit and we're going to display Christ-likeness consistently. And so, how are we going to bear fruit, and what does it look like? What does it mean to abide in Jesus? Because He says, if you're going to, in verse 5, probably the most familiar verse that we have here is, it says, I'm the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. So, whoever abides in me, that's the guy, that's the lady that's going to bear fruit. So that's the big question. What does it mean to abide? Well, I kind of already unpacked and described what that means. It is remaining. That's another word you see, and just next to that in a parallel version of the Bible, they use the word remain instead of abide. It is remaining in Him. It is staying close to Him. It is clinging to Him. It is depending upon Him. Again, relying on Him. It is hiding His Word in your heart. It is constantly being in the Word. It is being a student of the Bible to the extent that you begin to retain this Word. And so that's what it is. It's being with God, being in His Word regularly, often. And if we do that, He says there, that's the guy who's going to bear much fruit. And that's what we want to be, right? We want to be the person who not just bears fruit, but we want to bear much fruit. And the realization we need to come to all the time is the end of that verse 5. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Now, you can go through the motions of doing a lot of stuff. Going through the motions, doing it on your own strength, trying to pull it off yourself. While on the surface, it may seem to be good, but will often be ineffective, not life-changing, not produce change in you, not produce change in your church, not really be effective in helping or influencing or helping other people change. What we need is really being in the Word, not just going through the motions or the appearance, but really being in the Word, really being close to God. And we need real power and real strength. And man, when we do that, when we go that route, God will endow us with real strength and real help and real power so that uh, we can produce fruit and make a difference in the kingdom. So that's it. Um, there's another thing. I think if you're, I want to post this on our Facebook page, and so if you um, uh, attend First Baptist Church, or if you'd like to, one of the things we're going to do in this as we start the new year is read this book together right here. It's called Pray and Go, and so I want to encourage you to pop in. I'm going to primarily be commenting on this book on Wednesday nights. I'll talk about it some, maybe, or refer to it a little bit on Sunday mornings, but primarily you're going to hear about this book and hear about the things that we're gleaning from it on Wednesday night. So if you don't go to church somewhere on Wednesday night, we'd love to have you Wednesday night at 7 p.m. It's a great time together. We're done promptly at 8 o'clock. And so I hope you'll come and jump in with us. Again, grab yourself a copy of the Navigator's Bible Reading Plan or check it out on YouVersion um, as we start a new year. Best time to start anything is while it's on fresh on your heart and while it's on your mind. Do it before the enemy comes knocking and trying to influence you to spend your time in lesser valuable ways. So hope you have a great day. Thank you for taking a minute to check this out and to spend a minute listening.